Okay, Matrix, today we're going to be doing question 4, the mechanical assembly for your June 2023 past paper. So they say here, given the exploded drawing of the parts of a turbo core assembly, showing the position of each part relative to all the others. So this is the exploded isometric drawing where they basically show you how everything's going to slot together. Orthographic views of each of the parts of the turbo core assembly, so that's this here, so you get two different views. A conventional representation of the compressor wheel, part 7, so that's this over here. Where is part 7? Yeah, okay, so they're showing you how it would be drawn on your drawing sheet. Okay, then it says, answer this question on page 6, draw scale 1 to 1 and in third angle orthographic projection, which we know we have to do because third angle is for all your mechanical papers. And then they want the following views of the assembled parts of the turbo core assembly: sectional view on cutting plane AA as seen from the direction of the arrow, and the right view. So they say here all planning is essential. Drawings must comply with the SANS guidelines. Convention of symmetry may not be applied. Show 3 faces of the M16 nuts in the front view. Draw the compressor wheel as a conventional representation, and that no hidden detail is required. Okay, so what they mean when they say you need to plan your drawing is that you have to obviously lay out your drawing and you have to make sure that everything fits. Okay, so to start off with that, we're going to take our third angle orthographic projection, which is this over here, and then we are going to have the top view, front view, right view, 45 degrees, and left view. And they're telling us that they've given us a need to draw a sectional front view and the right view. Okay, so we know that we have to fit our drawings beside each other over here. Okay, so to do that, we're going to start by taking this long part here, which is part 9. No, that's not part 9, sorry, part 3, which is given over here, which is the housing. And we can see that it's got a total length of, let's grab the calculator and let's do the measurements on the calculator to make it a lot easier. So we have 15 plus 69 plus 8, that gives us 92. Okay, and then the height should be given on a radius here, so that is 130. So if the diameter is 130, it's got a height of 130. So with that information, we are going to see that only some parts of the assembly will stick out. So like here we have 153, and we can sort of make our measurements. So we can start here, and we can start off by saying 153, so it'll be 15.3, just like that over there. And everything should fit onto the shaft here, so that's going to be your height, and then you can obviously leave space for the right view. But we're going to start with the front view. Okay, so the first part to draw in would obviously be the shaft. It would be the most sense to draw the shaft first because everything is going to kind of work around the shaft. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by getting all of our measurements for our shaft over here. So we're going to start off by just making lines next to those 2 lines that we've just made, so we know which area we're working. And we can make a center line as well, which will make a lot of sense, so that you can obviously draw your drawing in quite neatly. Okay, so it should look like that. So we're going to start off by drawing in this little square bit over here, and that is 12 by 12. So what you're going to do is you're going to measure 6 on one side and then 12 on the other side, and then we're going to measure 12 just like this over here, and then we can make that solid because nothing is going to go over this part yet. So I'm going to make it solid, but if you would prefer to keep everything of yours in construction line until you know where everything is going. That's also okay. It's honestly a bit neater that way, and it also helps you to not have to erase so much in case you do need to change the way your drawing is going to be. So we've got that little part over there. Now we are going to work on this part here, which has a thickness of 3. So we're going to take our ruler, we're going to measure 3, and then from here we're going to draw a line, and then from here we're going to draw a line as well, and then we're going to have a diameter of 46, which 46 divided by 2 will give us 23, and we are going to measure 23 and 46. So we grabbed this measurement of this over here, okay? And then this part we can make solid as well, because if this slides against this here, it won't be able to go through that hole over there, so we know it is going to be solid. So we can start off by just making that solid. Also, a nice thing about drawing with HD is that every line that you do correctly, you essentially get a mark for. It's not to say you will, but you do generally get quite a couple of marks for just drawing in lines. So if you ever like get confused and you really don't know what to do, then draw as much as you can. Because I mean, if you look here, just for your sectional front view alone, if all you know how to draw is the shaft, and you draw the shaft, that's still 12.5 marks. If you know how to draw the key, do you see how it adds up depending on how much you know how to do? So draw as much as you can, and try to draw the parts completely. That way you get all of the marks for each part, okay? So like, instead of drawing part of the shaft, part of the housing, draw the whole shaft, the whole housing to get the marks that you need. Alright, so got that over there. Also, do you see this dark line here? Try not to get that. Try and make sure that your lines are like properly drawn. Alright, so now we're going to have to look at these measurements here. So they say here this is a diameter of 24, and here is where we are going to start drawing lightly, neatly in construction. So here we've got 24, so it'll be 12, 12 on either side. And then we can draw lines going across like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a measurement of 20, and we're going to draw that line up there like that. So there we've got this part over here. Okay, then we've got a diameter of 20 once again. So we are going to measure 10, 10 on either side, just like this up here. And then we are again going to draw lines going quite far down, because obviously it's going to be quite long. And then we're going to measure 72 on that part over there. So we will have 72. We're going to put our point right over there, and then we're going to draw a line going straight up like that. Okay, and then we obviously have got the rest of the shaft to draw in. So we've got firstly the rest of the length being 43. So if you would like to, you can just obviously take your measurements. That's mine slightly over, so let's just change that. 43 will end over there. Okay, so there you've got 43. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get this little part in here, which is n16 times by 2. So as far as I know, let me just see if they've got the measurement here so I can explain it nicely. Let me just see something. My apologies. So this will be 16. I don't know why that's taking me a bit long, but this will be 16 over here. Okay, because of your M16. Right to the end over there. Okay, So now what you're going to do is we're going to split this here. So we're going to first measure 22 for this measurement over here. So we'll have 22 over there. And then we're going to draw a line like that. Okay, so when you're getting the thickness to your lines over here, which you can obviously see over there, you're always going to have to take your M16 number, or not your M16, your M number, so in this case will be M16 times by 0.1, and that will give you 1.6. So you will have about 2 mils of worth of lines that you're drawing over here. Okay, so we've got that. So we're going to do 2 on this side, and we will do 2 on this side as well. We'll have 2 over there and 2 over there. Okay, so we've got that over there, and when it is done, it will obviously look like this. Then we have the key, which is 2 by 2, I believe, 4 by 2. So we obviously have our measurements of 2 over here, which we are going to extend so we can put our key in, and then 4 by 2, 4 by 4. Okay, doesn't matter. It's 2 down in depth, and then when we draw our key in, so we've got the place where it's going to be drawn into, we're going to find our key, which is right over here, and then it gives us a measurement of 4 by 4 and a length of 12. So let's just see if the key slots into anything that we need to be aware of. Does it look like it? Okay, so before we get our key in, we're going to take this section over here. We're going to take 60 degrees, 30 degrees, sorry, and we're going to stick that in there. And then we're going to measure in our key. So it's got a measurement of 12, so 12 in over there. Then we obviously know it's got a length of 4, so right at the end here, it will stop because it's obviously got a height of 4. Okay, and then we are going to draw around it. Obviously, as you know, you've got to do a little hatching, and I'm going to hatch by hand, but please don't do that. I'll just do it because it makes it quicker. But you're going to do like a little part section around it, and then you're going to hatch it in 45 degrees, neatly spaced, neatly with your ruler and not freehand. And at 45 degrees, you're going to put in your like hatching details. Okay, so once that is done, we're going to have to move on to the next part, which will be the bush. Yeah, it will be the bush, okay, because the bush goes in, so we're going to find the bush over here, okay, and we are going to see that it slots right over up until this block here. So I'm going to just quickly draw this block solid because obviously it's not going to get interfered. So it should look like that over there, and then we're going to draw a bush in. So to do that, we're going to start off by taking the diameter of 20, so that's how we know it lies over here, because the diameter of 20, and then we're going to measure 56 to start. So we're going to find 56, we're going to put a line over there, we're going to make a line go up like that, and then obviously like that as well, and then we are going to take the full height. So there's obviously like a little cut at the top here, if you can have a look, see. So the full height will be 35, and if this is a radius of 19, we know that this will be 19 here at the bottom, and 35 at the top will be over here. Okay, and then once you've got that, you're going to draw in a few lines on the side, just like this over here. Okay, when you've done that, you're going to take the thickness of 8 and you're going to draw that in. So let's start by just taking 8, and you can do it on the other side as well, over here. And then you don't have to measure it again at the bottom, because you can actually just bring those points straight down. And then we obviously want to measure these external lines here and what their height is, which is a diameter of 28. So it'll be 14 on either side. So there we will have 14, and then we have obviously 28, sorry. So it will be there as well. Okay, and then we're going to just start off by drawing those lines neatly across our drawing like that, so that you have sort of the shape that you need for your bush before you draw in your bush completely. Okay, once you have all of those parts, you can actually start connecting your bush, but draw it so that not every measurement is touching one another. So kind of like what I'm doing here is I'm like just drawing the outside of the bush, which is pretty much what you want to be doing to start off, so that you don't have like too many points. So you always just start by drawing the external shape of the object. So here, there's all the external bits over there. Okay, when you've got that, you can obviously see that there are two little like holes in the bush that we have to still draw in. So from this side here, we're going to measure 20, and we're going to draw a light little line going in. This needs to be a center line, so you need to do your big line and your small line. Essentially the line going through the middle of the shaft as well. So this line here should be a center line. I tend not to draw them, but do draw them in. Okay, so now that you've got your little center line, you're going to take the diameter of 6, and you're going to measure 3 on either side. So we're going to have 3 and 3, and then we're going to have 3 and 3 as well. So from, actually you can bring those lines straight down, you don't even have to worry about measuring them. So from here we'll have 3 and 3 and 3, oops, so 3, yep. Okay, sorry, mine is just a little bit in the wrong place. 3 and 3 without this line over here. Okay, and then what we're going to do, let's just fix that up. Okay, so once you've got those lines, you're going to take these lines here, make them solid, because obviously the shaft is going through them, just like this over here. And then you're going to go to the top of these lines and make them solid as well, and that is because we are cutting, but remember there is a bit of a gap still, okay, that we have to obviously realize is going to be there. So once we've drawn in that gap like this over here, we can hatch again. Please use your ruler. I'm not going to use my ruler, and do different intervals this time, so these should not be the same thickness, but do make sure to hatch your parts. I find it's easier to hatch them as soon as you've done them, so that you know exactly which parts you have drawn and you don't accidentally hatch another part to another part. Okay, so we've got now the bush drawn in. Alright, so now that that is done over there, we're going to have to draw in that doesn't make sense. Hold on a second. Okay, it doesn't make sense, but that is what they want you to do, because in my opinion, if you had to cut that, you wouldn't see anything at the back there, but it might be the other part. But these lines do need to be here, so don't worry about that. Okay, so now that that is drawn, we've got the rubber seal that needs to go on next, which is quite an easy looking part to draw. So we're going to add that in now. looks strange. Why does their thing always look so strange? Okay, just give me a second to kind of see what they're doing here so that I don't mislead you guys and I can explain it to you guys really nicely. And then I will obviously explain to you what we're going to do next. Okay, so what they want you to do with the rubber seal is it's going to slot into another part, which is why it looked a bit weird to me. But anyways, this is your rubber seal over here. And then what we are going to do is we're going to just draw a line next to the bush like that. It has obviously got a dimension of 6. So you're going to find a measurement of 6 over there. And then you're going to draw a line like that. We've obviously got the external diameter of 60 and an internal diameter of 48. So we are going to measure 30 on either side to get the 60 diameter. And while we're at it, we can measure 48. So half of 48 would be 24. Okay, so we're going to just measure 24 and then obviously at 48 as well. And then once we've got those parts, you can draw the lines in like that. So you will see that part of the bush, or like part of the rubber seal, you will see and part of it you won't see, which is kind of a weird thing to say, so kind of just bear with me right now. Like this side here, you're definitely going to see, because if you had to cut it in half, you would still see part of the seal, and these blocks you are going to see, which I'm going to draw in solid for now, because we need to draw something around them, and it's going to interfere with part of the other spaces. So before we get confused with that, that's what we've got to do. Okay. Okay. So it should look like this over here. Now, because you're drawing with a rubber seal, it needs to be hatched solidly, which means basically like colored in a way. So just make sure that is neatly done. And I know it's taking a bit long. It's a bit tedious. I used to stop what I was doing and do it off of camera, but some kids do really need help, so just bear with me if it irritates you. Otherwise you can just skip, that's also okay. Okay, so it should look like that. Alright, so now that we've got that, we've got to draw the back plate, which is going to fit in with part of the rubber seal. Okay, so if we look at the back plate here, the best place to look at it would actually be this number 6 over here, because you can kind of see it's got like a flat side with like dents on the inside kind of thing, and holes going through the middle like that. So the first hole, what is the hole? It's diameter of 20, so we know it's going to slot in over here, and there's a part of a like hole, as you can see, that is 2, but then we have diameter of 60 times 3 deep. So if we go here, we're going to measure 3, okay, because it's going to go 3 deep, which is halfway. So the reason why I said we have to leave a space open is because we obviously have to draw the seal in. So you can draw it from this side as a construction line like that, and then once that is done, you're going to have to just stop. And then also one of my lines is a bit incorrect. This one should not be here because we've obviously, you can't draw over the shaft, so my apologies for that. Okay, we're just going to quickly draw the rest of this part of the shaft completely solid. Okay, so what you're going to do is from here, you're going to draw everything completely solid and completely solid. You are still going to have your line sticking out as part of your back plate measurement. The full measurement for the back plate is 80 by 2. So we are going to take 40 we're going to draw a line and we're going to take 80. Okay, so once you're done, it should look like this. Now you get marks for having this specific little like square detail here. So don't skip it, it is actually quite important. But because we know it's going 3 deep, before we continue worrying about that little corner, we know it's going 3 deep, so we measure from that middle line and we're going to measure 13. Just like this over here. Okay, and it should end right in line with your shaft over here. Alright, so once you have got that, we can now worry about all the nitty-gritty details, which is this little like square piece over here, the corner. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take the thickness, which is obviously a thickness of 2, and from this middle we're going to measure 2. Okay, and from that 2, is it touching on the inside as well? Okay, it touches on the outside, so from here you will have 2, like this over here. That means this is, why is it external? Okay, I'm just going to do it the way they want you to see it, because to me it doesn't really make much sense. But anyways, so you're going to draw 2, you're going to draw a light line going up and a light line going down at your points over here. And then from that point, you're going to measure 45 degrees and 45 degrees. And then what you're going to do is at the back over here, you're going to make this line solid. Going to draw that line in like that, this line solid, and this line in like that. And then you can draw in the last pieces of this specific detail. Okay, so that it should look like this so far. Alright, and then once you have done that, you can draw a completely solid backing. So that's this over here, because obviously we're not going to see the holes. And then once you've done that, you can hatch, and you're going to have to hatch in the opposite direction, because you've got a part over there that is already going in the other direction. So now you're going to hatch in the other direction so that the person marking can see that you've got 2 different parts. Okay, so it should look like that so far. Again, make sure you use your ruler at 45 degrees, but these 2 thicknesses, spaces can be the same because they're going in different directions. But if it goes in the same direction, they need to have different spaces, but they should be going in different directions. Okay, so now that we've got that part done, if you think about it, we've done the shaft, the key, okay, we've done the bush, we've done the rubber seal, and we've done this one here. Okay, so we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 more parts to draw to finish up the section. So the next part that would make the most sense to draw would be the housing, because it's going to fit over this part over here, as you can see, and it will stop, as you can see by these like threads here, it will stop right at the edge of this bit over here. Okay, so because we know that, we can actually start by drawing an extended line up like this. Okay, so we're going to extend that line, and then we're going to draw in the housing. Okay, so onto the housing. So we're going to start off by just having a look here. We can see that the length of 16, so that's why this one was off. It says 13, but it is actually supposed to be 16, which makes sense based on what we've just drawn. But anyways, let's just forget about that for now. So 16 to show that this housing slides straight up against this part over here, which we now know. And then it gives us different measurements, heights, etc., etc. So to get this little square rectangle thing over here first, we're going to have to find the total height, which will be 130. So 130 divided by 2 will be 65. So to start off, we're going to find the middle over here. We're going to measure 65, we're going to make a mark, and then we're going to make a mark at 130 as well. And we're going to draw out those lines neatly like this over here. Okay, then we know the thickness is 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a measurement of 8 here at the bottom, and we're going to draw that there and down there like that. Okay, then we want to grab the height of this over here, which will be, what will it be? 100. Okay, so it'll be 100, and from that 100, will it be 100? Yes, it will be. Okay, so it'll be 100, so we're going to measure 50-50 on either side. So from here, we're going to grab a measurement of 50, and from here we're going to grab a measurement of 10, and then, which is 50 on the side as well, by the way, and then we're going to draw a line going across like that. Okay, so from where we made the 8 measurement, which is that point over there, we're going to measure the full height or the full length of this over here, which will be 69. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take, sorry about that, we're going to take 69 and we're going to draw a line like that, and then we're going to draw a line going up. Okay, then once we have got that line, we are going to grab, mine seems so much further back, but it's actually not. Okay, then we're going to grab this last measurement here, which has got a diameter of 76, so 76 divided by 2 will give us 38 on either side, and so we are going to have 38 here, and then 76 over here from the middle, and again we're going to have horizontal lines like that, and then we're going to have the thickness of 15. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab measurement of 15, which will actually touch right up against this measurement here, and then you will have your shape. So if you have a look at the hidden detail inside here, you can basically see it's everything that's already the shape of the shaft and the back plate, but there's only extra like little measurements where there's supposed to be like different parts going through there. So we're going to only draw those measurements in once we've got the outside shape, because the outside shape is pretty much the only shape that we need. So let's get started. Okay, so now that that is done, let's start getting the measurements going through the middle here. So the first one we've got is M14 by 2, so we're going to measure that, which will be this little part over here. Where is that? For line fitting, which we could essentially just draw straight in, which I think let's do that instead. So we're going to take the height of 7 first, because 7 is going to stick up the top, and we're going to draw a line of 15 going in. Okay, so we will have 7 at the top over here, and then we're going to have 17 above that. Apologies if you cannot see the paper, I will bring it back into sight now. So that's 17, and then we'll obviously have 15 at the bottom. Okay, just like that over there. Okay. So now that we've got that, we can draw in this part. So we have diameter of 6, that's through the middle. We have the exterior M18 by 2, except there is a measurement across flats that we need to do first. Okay, let me just find a nice way to explain this next thing to you quickly, and then we'll do that. For the meantime though, the thing that we can obviously draw in is this here. It's got a diameter of 6. It's going to be a hole that's not actually going to have anything going through it. So all you need to do is draw 3 and 6 on the side over here. And then I'm going to draw those lines going up like that. And then we are going to do the next part. So let me just find a nice way to explain it to you quickly, and then we'll continue. Okay, so now that we're doing the across flat section that I said I wanted to explain to you, that means that from this edge here to this edge here, we're going to have a measurement of 22. So we are going to grab our ruler and we're going to measure 11 on either side. So we have 11 and 22, and then we can draw that line going in like that. Okay, so we've got that one for now. Let's just see, that's 7. That should be 17. It is, oh my goodness. Okay, so there we go. We've got that over there, and the across flats is actually for the 7 measurement over here. So we're going to draw this one in solid straight over here. Okay, then we have M18 by 2, so that means we'll have, let's just extend this line a little bit here. We will have 9 on either side, so we're going to measure 9 and then 18 like that, and then we're going to draw that line up, down like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take M18 divide by 0.1, I'm sorry, times by 0.1, and that will give us 1.8. So please actually do always write your measurements so that people know, the marker knows where you're getting your measurements from. So we've got 1.8, which means if we take our part up here, we're going to measure 2 and 2. Okay, and then we're going to draw lines like that. We're going to measure 2 over here and 2 over here, and across like that. Alright, and then all you're going to do is you're going to take your 40-degree set square, your 45-degree set square. You're going to draw in the 45-degree lines. So that it should look like this over here. Okay. And what they do actually want as well, which I probably should have paid attention to, but they say that they want to see like the keyway for your oil line fitting. Okay, so what you're going to do is you can do like a little half thing like that and like that, just to show the hole going through the middle. So you're still going to keep the side thread a bit more visible. Still going to keep your side thread over here. The only thing you're going to do is you're going to add that 6 hole, which you're going to bring actually all the way through here. Okay, and then they want you to hatch around that, so should look like that. Okay, and then that is your oil line fitting done. And we've also got the housing done, but we do need to hatch the housing, although I'm not going to actually hatch the housing. But if you do hatch your housing, just know that it would be better if your lines were thicker like this. Okay, except like I said, I'm not going to hatch it because I think this video is already quite long. Okay, now we're going to draw in the compressor wheel, which will slide right up against this over here. So first things first, we're going to take the total length, which is 24. Okay, so we're going to find 24. We're going to make a mark over there. We're going to draw a line going up. Remember, this point here ends at that point over there. So, okay, and then we've got the compressor up like that. Okay, so we can make this part here solid as well. Okay, so we've got 24, and then we have got a diameter of 72, so if we have to take that in half, that will be 36 on either side. Okay, so we've got this over here, but remember it is going to be a dome shape. This is just to help us get it the basic shape that we need to have drawn. And then it says it's got a radius of 80, so we're going to have to draw in our radius of 80, and let's just see, where does that end? It ends with the whole end. So what is the length of this hole? That's 40. So you're also going to measure 20 on your middle line, make a mark, and then 40 on the middle line and make a mark. Okay, and then just to have a look, see, we have also got a chair, so just keep in mind this is a convention we are drawing, but we need both measurements for both pictures. So we're using this and this currently, and there's going to be the keyway that slots straight into there. Okay, that's fine. And then we've obviously got the radius. So let's start with the radius. So you're going to grab a radius of 80. Okay, and then from this point here, you're going to make a little arc. And from this point here, you're going to make a little arc. It should actually be touching. Okay, just try to keep it as neat as possible. Okay, and then where they touch is where your radius is going to come in as part of your compressor wheel. Okay, so we're going to do the same on the other side. So you're going to take your radius of 80, you're lightly going to draw your arcs, and then you're going to do the same on the other side over here, and where crisscross is where you're going to put your compass to get your radius. Alright, so it should look like that. Once you've got that, you can draw this part here in solid. Okay, then when you have done that, we're going to grab the measurements for this bit over here. So we've got the external bits over there, and we've got a little line of 3 to get this over here. Okay, so we're going to have 3, okay, which will land up over there, and then you can bring it this side as well. And remember, this is where it cuts, so it's going to go straight through there and there, and then your key is already in, so we don't actually have to worry about the key. And we're going to draw that in like that. Obviously, we've already got our sides. Try and make them a bit darker if possible. Mine are a bit too light for this actually. But anyways, and then when you're done, you're going to patch. Okay, so it should look like that so far. And then we're going to do the last bit, which is the M16 nut. So that's done, and then we've got the M16 nut, and then we do have the right view still, but I'm going to do that in a separate video. Okay, so we've got the M16 nut, so we're going to have 13 first. So we're going to put over there, okay, and then we are going to draw essentially what will be the right view is where your M16 nut will be. So essentially it should be over here somewhere. Let's see if the housing has got a length of 130, so that'll be 130 about there, more or less. You could put your nut over there so that you don't have to draw twice. Okay, so we're going to start off by drawing the nut. So because it is an M16 nut, we want to get the diameter that we're going to have to draw. So we're going to have to say 1.5 times 16, which will give us 24. 24 divided by 2 will obviously give us 12, and that will be our radius. So we're going to grab 12, and we're going to draw a little circle over here. Once we have done our circle, we obviously have to draw 3 faces of the M16 nut, which means we're going to have our top corner put over there, over here. I'm doing all of this light. I'll make it a little bit darker in the next video, and then you'll obviously have your sides as well. Okay, so like that, and then you can bring these measurements onto your 13 line that you've made. So here we'll have 1. Okay, let's just make a line going straight through here, and let me actually just make these darker so that you guys can differentiate where we are working. Okay, we have this line up here which we can make solid, and then we've got these bottom lines here which we can make solid as well. So it should look like that so far. And then you can make this line here at the back solid, because obviously we don't have the loops at the back as well like we do over here. Okay, when you have got all of those bits there, you're going to take your ruler and you're going to draw a line from the corner into the middle like that, using the 30 degrees as well as over here. Okay, and then at the corners you'll do the same thing. So you'll go from this little corner in like that, and from this little corner in like that, right? So you should kind of have like a shape that is kind of like a double Y. So I'm going to draw it here so that you can, actually let me highlight it, that way you can see it a lot better. So you're going to have 30 degrees from the corner, 30 degrees from the corner, from this corner 30 degrees, and from that corner 30 degrees. Okay, and then you're going to use this as a point for your compass to make the mark. So from here, I'm going to make this circle round in here, same for this over here, and for this one over here as well. Okay, and then I'm going to just make these darker because my compass is a bit loose. Don't do that though, do not freehand. And then you can actually do your let's do it this way rather. You can do your 30 degree lines again. So here you can do 30 degrees. Okay, here you can do 30 degrees, and then at the top do a straight line like that, right? And then we obviously have the shaft to finish off quickly. So we're going to take the top part, we're going to draw a little 45 like that. And then we're going to draw the last little lines going in over here, like that. Okay, and then that will be your sectional front view done. Okay, so I will do these right view in a different video. It's a bit long to put in all one video and I do get tired. So in the next video we'll do the right view.